Hey everybody, I'm Ethan.
And I'm Jesse.
And today we're going to be taking a look at the Rad Power Bike's Radmission.
Next on Now Let's Review. Now, just wanted to let you know that Rad did send us this bike for review, but it doesn't influence our review in any way. Our review is based solely on our experiences with this bike.
The Radmission is Rad Power Bike's bare bones, simple commuter bike, and keeping in mind throughout this review that is what this bike is meant to be, they've done a great job with it. The styling is nice and simple, with great color choices available, but I went for the flat gray when choosing ours. Features on this bike are pretty standard, with not much in the way of fancy or cutting-edge parts. Mechanical disc brakes on the front and back wheels provide decent stopping power. The tires have decent tread and can maintain traction on gravel and dirt as well as pavement. That being said, I wouldn't want to do much riding on anything other than smooth pavement since this bike has no suspension, which makes the ride a bit rough at times. A 500-watt hub motor is mounted on the back wheel, and it can bring the bike up to a top speed of 20 miles per hour. The motor is controlled by using 4 levels of cadence sensing pedal assist or by using the half-twist throttle on the right handlebar. Being cadence sensing, the pedal assist isn't going to be the smoothest, but Rad has actually done a great job with their cadence sensing pedal assist, and the engagement and disengagement are far less abrupt and jerky than on most bikes. The level of assist is selected with buttons on the very analog display unit on the left handlebar. The unit also has a power button and a headlight button, as well as lights that indicate what level of pedal assist you're in. Also featured is an LED headlight and a brake light mounted underneath the seat. So the riding experience on this bike is pretty typical. It's a pretty simple bike, only a single speed, doesn't have suspension or anything, so there are a couple things I guess I could knock it on, but I mean overall, considering it does only have one speed and no suspension, it rides really well. It feels really well built, it's really solid, and the pedal assist is super smooth. Even though it is cadence sensing, it engages and disengages quickly, handles really well. It's a sporty little bike to ride. I like it a lot. Everything is powered by a 504 watt-hour, 48-volt removable battery that can charge in 3 to 7 hours and offers a claimed range of 25 to 45 miles. Again, large spreads in claimed ranges aren't my favorite things to hear from companies, but the range you get will obviously depend on the terrain you ride on, what level of pedal assist you use, and countless other factors. I didn't get a chance to fully test the range of this bike, but since it only has a single speed, I think you'll be using the mid to high levels of pedal assist in addition to moderate throttle usage if you live anywhere with elevation changes, so I would guess the lower end of the claimed range would be realistic for most people. The riding experience with the Radmission is pretty good overall. It handles, accelerates, and brakes well, the pedal assist and throttle both engage smoothly, and nothing has concerned me regarding build quality or stability when riding. The seat can get a tad bit uncomfortable after a while, and the lack of suspension makes for a bumpy ride sometimes, but standing up on the pedals every once in a while helps to counteract these minor issues. At 48 pounds, it is pretty easy to lift and to bring inside compared to many other e-bikes, and it can be carried on a heavy-duty bike rack with no problem.
So I think the obvious downsides of this bike are because they were going for affordability over, putting a lot of great features in there, which obviously costs a lot of money. And so what you're getting is a solid bike. I think that the biggest downside for me is the gearing. Not necessarily so much for the riding, because I think that the motor makes up for it. But if you ever do run out of battery power, that does mean that hills are gonna pose a challenge for you, and you're gonna be limited to that single speed. Besides that, I think it is a good value. You get a headlight, you get a tail light, a fairly decent range, you get disc brakes, a bell, everything, so all the bells, there aren't any whistles. Do bikes come with whistles? I don't know, let me know in the comments below. But I think that, yeah, overall, if you were looking for an e-bike, this is definitely one that you're gonna feel very comfortable getting. This is an American company, so this isn't just, cheap Chinese crap that they threw in a box and sent to your door. This is actual quality stuff.
As stated earlier, it is important to keep in mind that this bike is meant to be a bare-bones commuter, and I think it does a good job at that. But it is missing a few things that I feel could be included while still keeping it minimalist. For one, the bike doesn't come with a kickstand. You can order one on the Rad website for $15, but as standard, you will receive this bike without a kickstand, which is very inconvenient in a lot of situations. Second, I would like to see a multi-speed drivetrain, either as standard or as an optional version of the bike. The single speed works fine for a lot of people, and for riding bike paths or city streets, the single speed shouldn't be much of a problem. However, if there are any hills on your commute, a set of gears would really help and would allow the rider to do more of the work instead of making the bike power through and use up lots of the battery. Those aside, the Radmission is a great commuter bike that will make the daily ride to and from work a lot of fun.
All right, Ethan, so how much does the Radmission cost?
So this bike is currently listed at $1,200 US, and I think that's a fair price for this bike because it is really well made and the ride quality is good. I don't really have any complaints with this bike. I think it's a solid bike and a decent price.
Yeah, I think that in the budget category, you're either going to be sacrificing quality or you're going to be sacrificing features. In this instance, you're sacrificing some features, like you were talking about with gears and suspension. It does mean that there are fewer things to go wrong with this bike. And if you weren't a big bike aficionado and you didn't have a bike with gears growing up, then you're not really giving up too much and you're gaining a lot in terms of disc brakes and headlight and taillight and obviously the motor. And I think that there is also some room for expandability. I mean, obviously you have the handlebars that you can put, phone mount to. You also have this section here where you can put a front basket. Now this stuff wouldn't necessarily improve the ride, but it would make the bike a little bit more livable. Thank you so much for watching this review on Now Let's Review. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and consider subscribing. We have lots and lots of different e-bikes that we're going to be reviewing. This is, I think, the year of the e-bike.
I hope so.
I think that this spring, people are going to be getting on e-bikes for the first time. This might be somebody's first e-bike, and I'm really excited about it because it's going to change the way that you move around. And we want to bring you more e-bikes so you have more to think about. So consider subscribing. We'll see you next time. Now let's review.